This conference will now be recorded.
In the previous session, we have seen that there could be an error in the data, right? So always let us assume at the end of the day, you are going to do a report. When you're doing the report, there could be a lot of issues with the data. So you may find it difficult to report it. What was the root causes? Each and everyone started entering different values. Just they have the keyboard, just they have everything. So it, so there could be duplications, there could be error, there could be mismatch in the numbers, it could be only 5 digit, and there is a negative age. All these errors are possible if you don't put any restriction on the table, right? The data which you're seeing on the screen, the three data, there is always a problem with the second and third. What if this continues? Do you think each and every one will be able to, maybe a developer will be able to correct it? He cannot keep control over it. He cannot keep control over it. Rest, instead what he will do is he will try to put restriction on the table. That restriction is nothing but we have seen something called constraints. Okay, so as we see, we have seen many constraints. So one with respect to not null, unique, primary key, foreign key, check, and default. This is all the constraints which we have seen so far. So today we are going to see practically. Today we are going to see practically. Okay, so before we go and see the practically, let us see how I wrote a simple table. Okay, how I wrote a simple table. For that what I will do is, I'll just show you the script which I've used to create my simple table. Language SQL. Okay, so this is a table which I've created with respect to a normal simple table without any restriction. Without any restriction. Okay, so try to understand. So this is a table that I've created for storing the customer information, but I've stored it without any restriction, right? So if I put without any restriction, that means that anyone can enter any data and it will look like this, and it will look like this. Okay, so what I will do now, I will start adding some constraints. Okay, how to add it we will see here. Okay, now the same table I'm creating, but remember, now I'm creating with restrictions, with constraints. Okay, so I'm going to create with constraints. So with constraints, let us see how I can create it. Okay, the same table, let me see how can I create it. I'm writing the code now. Create table customer info. I'll just replace with underscore. Okay, and what I will do, the first ID is the right ID small int. The same thing I'm going to give ID int, and this time, as and then, I've already told you this ID cannot be repeated. Condition number one, cannot be repeated, in the sense I can call it as cannot be duplicated, cannot be null, and it should be unique. What I will give is, what I'll give after this int after this int I will give something called primary key. That is all as a change. Maybe it should be small int. After this id, after this small int, I am going and give something called primary key. Did I make any other change? No. This was a normal table. This was a normal table, and this is a table with constraints. I just add id small int, and here I am giving id small int primary key. Okay, and the next will be first name. First name. What was the data type for first name? First name of varchar of 20 I had given. The same thing I am going to type varchar of 20. What was the condition for first name? What was the condition for first name? First name cannot be null. First name cannot be null. If I'm opening an Amazon application, it has to greet me with my first name, but this is where something which is failing. What I will give after this first name varchar. After that, what I'll give is I will give something called not null. That's all it is. Till here it is same. After that, I will give not null. Not null means at any point of time in your table, don't accept null. This is a condition or a meaning of not null. Okay, so two changes I've done. One with I've added a primary key, and one I've added with respect to not null. Right? And coming for last name. Last name can be null or cannot be null. Sometimes some people will not even have a last name. Never mind. For sure they will have a name, but last name is something not a mandatory. So what I will do is I will not do anything. I will not do anything for last name. Last name varchar of 20. Yeah.
In the not null, can we give the space character?
Can you give
Space character.
space
Space.
character?
Just space. Without any, rather than typing, no, just space. Yeah,
You're asking this.
yeah.
It will accept it because it's a character. A space is also a character. If you don't give anything, only that will come. Space is also treated as a character. We'll
So
show
that
when we
is
are
that
inserting.
is allowed in not null, right?
That is allowed. Yes, that is allowed.
Hmm.
I'll show it. I'll show it in an example. Okay, when you are inserting. So now if I give not null, at any point of time you have to enter a name. Okay, but maybe if you enter some space also it will take, because system will not understand whether you have typed the initial or you have typed the name or you have given a space. It will not accept it. Okay, so that is something which is not null. Okay, then after that, for the last name, as I told, some of them can have last name or cannot have last name. So what I will give, I will just go and create a last name for, I'll just create a last name as nothing. Okay, so what I will do, I will not do any changes with respect to last name. And the next is what, age. And the next is what, age. What I will do, I will write age, and for age I will give tiny int. Okay, for age I give tiny int. And for what is the age condition, what should I give the for age condition?
I should not be negative.
Not be less than 18.
Yes, it should not be less than 18. What constraint I can use is,
Check.
I can go and use check constraint. Okay, so very simple. I can go and use check constraint. How do I write the code? After this age data type, go and type something called check. Go and type something called check and write it like age should be greater than 18. That is all it is. Till here only I was writing. After that I am writing one more thing. That one more thing is check constraint, which is age is greater than 18. See, nothing I've done. This is a data type. This is a table name, column name, data type, column name, data type, column name, data type. But what I've added, column name, data type, constraint, column name, data type, constraint, column name, data type. For here also I have not had any constraint, but it's fine. But for age also, column name, data type, constraint. check constraint which I'm giving greater than 18. Okay, so this is done. This is done. What is the next step? After my age, I will give something called address. I will give address, and for this address, let me give it as a varchar. This is the column name, data type, and I'll be using something called unique. Some of them may be interested to give address, some of them may have not given the address, and even if you have not given, it's fine. Null is acceptable. Yesterday I gave an example of survey. So people are filling the survey. So boys easily give the numbers, but girls will not give the numbers in the survey. Just write their name and age. Maybe that also they will avoid. But phone number is something they will not write it anywhere else. So, but it can be null. But all to understand, if they give, it should not be present in any of the number. For example, as a girl, you give a number. If you give it, make sure your number is not reused anywhere. It should not be repeated. Two-person cannot have a same phone number. What I will do for address also, different people will be having different address, but some people may not give it. Not giving is acceptable, but if you give it, make sure it is unique. So I will go and use unique constraint. So what exactly I will do? I will go and write address varchar, and I'll be writing unique. Okay, so got it. So all for ID, first name,
The
last
address
name.
varchar 200 it is.
I'm sorry.
Address is varchar 200 in above table.
Yeah, that's fine. 100 or 200, it's fine. It just accepts anything because it is a space. So what I will do now, after address, I'll give some varchar. After the varchar, I will give unique. Make sure that whatever address you gave, make sure it is not repeated. Make sure it is not repeated. Okay, but it can accept null. ID is done, first name is done, last name is done, age is done, address is done. Okay, next comes the location. Next comes the location. What I will do for location is location. Okay, varchar. Okay, now what I will do, I will write something called default. I will write default. Someone who don't give location, someone who don't give location, for them the default value should be India. Considering I'm dealing with my only India data set, if someone who is not entering their location, make sure you insert record as India. Okay, so basically what I've used is, I've used primary key, I've used not null, I've used check, I've used unique, I've used default. I have used default. Okay, now, okay, and the last thing is, let us go and write something with respect to phone number. Let us go and write something with respect to phone number. Okay, so what we will do with the phone number is, let us do one thing with the phone number. So for phone number, let me write phone number. Phone number. Okay, for what is phone number? Clearly you have to understand, it is going to be big int. Big int. Okay, after big int, what I will write? I will write a check condition. I will write a check condition. Inside the check condition, I will make sure the length of phone number should be exactly equal to 10 digit. So this is a condition which I am giving. Phone number big int, and this is a constraint. At any point of time, whether you give like this, you gave like this, it is, I know it's a wrong number, Whether it's a wrong number or correct number, I don't mind, but I don't want to see this 5 digit. You give 1111, you give 2222, that is all. I'm not at all acceptable. Maybe what will happen? You will not get an update in your mobile. What is your order status, when it is going to ship, who is going to be the delivery partner, whatever it is, you will not be able to get that if you are giving wrong number. I will accept it, that is your mistake, your headache, your fate, I cannot do anything. But if you want to enter in my system, make sure your phone number has to be 10 digit. You cannot give your phone number like 1 2 3 4 5. I will never accept it. Never mind if it's a correct number, wrong number, but I want to make sure it has to be 10 digit. I will give the constraint as phone number, big int, check condition, length of phone number equal to 10. Maybe if you write of greater than this, if you write greater than this, it is acceptable. Okay, but it cannot be 12, 13, 14, 15 digit. A phone number has to be 10 digit for India. Let us take, we are talking about India, so let us take phone number has to be exactly 10. It cannot be 9, it cannot be 11. So for that I have to give something called equal condition. I have to give equal condition. Okay, so phone number is also I have added. Phone number is also something which I have added. Okay, and the last thing is, what else is pending? Location is there, phone number is there, phone number is added. Okay, after phone number, which is a constraint I've not managed, like I'm not added, like primary key I've added, sorry, a foreign key, but for foreign key we have to go with a different table, that we will see later. Okay, foreign key comes only if you are having a child table. So other than that, what I have not used? Primary key I have used, not null I have used, check I have used, unique I have used, default I have used, and again check I have used. What is the one more constraint? Maybe what is the one more condition which I have not used is age greater than this I have used. Default I have used. Phone number has to be greater than or equal to 10 digit, that also I have used. First name cannot be null, that also I have used. ID cannot be repeated, that also I have used. This is a condition which I have not handled. At any point of time, first name should not be equal to last name. This is a condition I have to manage now. Rest everything I think I have managed it, but this is a condition I have to manage. Okay, how to manage. So try to understand whatever constraint I'm adding, ID, data type, constraint, I column name, data type, constraint, column name, data type, constraint. Everything whatever you're doing with respect to each and every column. This is all called column constraint. For ID I've added a primary key. For first name I've added a not null. So for all this I am adding something called constraint. This is all called column constraint. Okay, so now what will happen is, someone is not on mute, I think. You can hear a lot of disturbance. Okay, so this is a column name, this is a data type, and this is a constraint. Everything I've added. Now what I will do is, after adding this phone number, let me go and do one thing. Okay, let me go and do one thing. I'll be adding something called, let me add one thing. So now I'll go and add one more check condition, and this check condition I will make sure my first name should not be equal to my last name. Very simple. My first name, I have to make sure it is not equal to last name. For here, right, for this I've added a primary key, for this I've added a primary key, but now what I'm doing, I'm comparing two columns, this and this I'm comparing. So I will go and write one check condition. I will make sure that this and this coming from the same table, I will be comparing on the same line two features. So this becomes a table level constraint. This is all straightforward. Column constraint, column constraint, column constraint, column constraint. But now what I'm doing, for the check condition, I want to make sure first name is not equal to last name. That is my condition. Okay, this becomes a table constraint because I'm using two variables or maybe two columns. If I using two columns added together, I cannot write it go here, I cannot write it here, it should be equal, they should be equal, I cannot write it. So I will write one check condition telling that first name should not be equal to last name. Okay, and one more thing I will do is, I have made sure the phone number is 10 digit. I have made sure my phone number is 10 digit, but also remember phone number has to be unique. No person can hold a same number. Okay, so I will go and add one more constraint called unique. What is a unique? Unique of phone number. Phone number has to be unique. Okay, so this is all is a constraint which I've added. This was my simple table. In this simple table I've created column name, data type, column name, data type, column name, data type, but everyone started inserting many things. Now I've restricted. This is my restricted table with constraints. In the real time, this is how they would have created the table, which is a primary key, which is a foreign key, maybe foreign key we'll see later, but foreign primary key, not null, check condition, unique condition, everything they are going to give it with respect to this type of constraints. Now what we will do, we will copy this and we will go and run it, and we will go and run it. We will go and run it. Okay, I will go and run it. Maybe I think it is already present. I'll drop it. So with the same name, you cannot create multiple table. Remember that. Okay, for one table is there, the same name I cannot use it for one more time. For example, select star from table. Which table name it will give? Okay, for that is the reason any table which I'm creating, I'll make sure first it is not available. So that is the reason I'm writing drop table. Okay, so I'll drop it first, and then I will write this. What it is telling? Customer one information is already exist. Okay, so I think I've already created one. Okay, so now I'll go create it. Now I'll go create this table. Yeah, phone number does not exist. Why?
Phone number spelling is wrong in 18th line.
Okay, okay, phone NUMBR. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now I will go and run this table. It's executed. It executed. The table is now executed with constraints. With constraints. Okay, now what I will do, I will go and start inserting the records, and we will see if it is allowing me to insert some junk values, or it is allowing me to insert some um, like uh, whatever the values which I put restrictions, we'll go and try it. Okay, for that what I will do, I will just take few inserts. And I try to insert it. Okay, first thing what I will do is, the first row, let me concentrate on first row. Insert into customer information. This is one primary key. This is a first name, this is a last name, this is a age, this is a address, this is a location, and this is a phone number. I will go and directly insert it. The value is inserted. If you want to check that, go and write select star from customer information. Inserted. one value is inserted. Okay, now the second one which I will give is I will try to enter the second data. This time what I will do, I will give it same ID. I will give it same ID. Let us see whether it is accepting or not. It should never accept because I've given my ID as primary key. Primary key means no duplicates. Primary key means no duplicates. It cannot have null. It cannot be repeated. So obviously this has to give me an error. We will see if this is giving me an error. I run this. What is the error?
Duplicate key.
Duplicate entry, one for the key primary. So now it is throwing me an error telling that I will not allow this to enter. I'm not allowing. I'm not at all allowing because you have given the number which is already repeated. Okay. Okay, maybe I will correct this. Then I'll check first name equal to last name. Acceptable. Age is greater than 18. Acceptable. Address, it is greater than like maybe address is unique. One is door number 32 and one is 30. Acceptable. One is Karnataka. This is fine. And phone number, let us give same phone number. Let us give same phone number. Though it is a 10 digit, I can still see that it is acceptable. It's 10 digit. Okay. Now what I will do, I will go and enter this. It is throwing me an error. What is the error now? Duplicate entry for this, because I've clearly told phone number as also should be unique. Phone number should also be unique. If you don't give, that is fine, but if you give it, make sure the phone number is not same. That is the error it is throwing. Duplicate entry, this number for the phone number. What I will do, I will go and change some number. Okay, now I will run it. It is accepted. Now if I go and see the customer data, ID is not duplicated. First name is fine. Any more two people can have same first name, and last name also can be different. Age is different. Address has to be unique. One is 32, one is 30. Location can be anything, and phone number has to be unique. Phone number has to be unique. Okay. Now let us say I will go and insert third record. So what I will do, I've checked my primary condition. Now I will change with 3. Now I'll change some other name. Okay, and I will go and change location. I'll not change address. Let it be the same address. We'll see what happens. And phone number also I will change it. Phone number also I will change it. Okay. Now what will happen? We'll see. If I go and enter this, third record, it is throwing me an error. What is the error? Duplicate entry for address. Address I have given them as unique. But the one thing is happening is it is not accepting duplicate values. So go and change your address. Change it as something to 45, door number 45. Okay. Now if I insert, it will insert, but wantedly I will make one more mistake. I will write only my phone number as 9 digit. If I make 9 digit, it has to fail because I've given a check constraint length of phone number equal to 10. Okay. Now I'll go and insert it. Again, it is throwing an error. Check constraint is violated. So violated in the sense something which is not followed. You just don't follow the traffic rules. What they will tell, you're violating the rules. The same thing, you're violating the restriction. Something they have restricted and you're not able to follow that, and that is reason it is telling that it is not followed. Now I'll go and write one number. Now I'll insert it. Now it is accepted. Okay. Now what I will do, what I will do, I will insert one more record. This time instead of first name, I will send it as null. I don't give. I'm not interested to give my first name. Okay, and ID should be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and address has to be unique. And it can be Bangalore, it can be anything, and it can be any number. Okay, now what will happen if I enter this? It is throwing me an error. Column first name cannot be null at any point of time. Make sure your data has to have some value for the first name, if you don't have the first name, you will not be able to enter my record. Okay, and then it is telling this is null, it is not acceptable. Something I have to give. Maybe I'll give like this. Now I'll insert it. Still it is error is coming. What is error? What is error? How to fix it?
Same address, sir.
Same address. I will go and change it. 50 I will change it. Okay, now I will insert it. Okay, one row is inserted. Okay, so I've tried everything. Primary key violation I've tried, first name violation, everything I've tried. Default is something which I've not tried. Okay, so for default, right, where is the default? This is a default. For default, let me explain you a simple example. Okay, let us say I have something like this. A simple table is there. Okay, simple table is there. I created a table. Okay, table already exists, so I'll create T2. So I'll create one table. Okay, how do you write an insert statement? Insert into table values 1 comma. This is how you insert. If I'm not wrong, this is how you insert. I will create multiple inserts. 2 I'll give 2. I'll give 3. I'll give different names. I'll give different age. Okay, I'll insert this now. If I insert this, it is inserted. I will go and write one thing called select statement. Select star from T2. I've got it. Okay, now what I want is I want to enter only ID and name. I don't want to enter age. Did you understand my question? There is 3 values: ID, name, and age. Now for the next row, I don't want to insert age. I just want to enter ID and name. A simple way. I will create one more insert. This time I will not give age. So becomes 4 and becomes something called tan. Something I'll give. I will not give age. Line number 10 will execute or not?
Not execute.
Executed, sir.
It will execute.
Okay, who is telling it is execute? Who is telling not it execute? Give the reason.
We haven't kept any constraints, right? It should not be null like that.
That is
So
fine.
it should.
Okay, that is fine. Constraints I have not kept. That is fine. So you are telling it will insert. If I don't keep any constraint, it will insert.
Yes.
Okay.
Column data and I mean column names. What if the column names are 3? Columns are 3. Rows data also 3. Must be matched.
Okay. If the columns is 3, 1, 2, 3, you're telling 1, 2, 3 has to be present. Now if I go and run this 10th line, I will get an error. What is the error? Column count does not match it. column count did not match it. That means the column count here I'm giving only 2, but initially it is 3. Okay, this is not accepted. This is not accepted. What is this insert will do is, insert will assume that it will go and check this 1 2 3, it will go and map it with this 1 2 3, and it will go and insert it. This is not inserting because the column count does not match it. Okay, but how do you handle this? How do you handle this? Remember, this is very important. If you want to insert values with only specific columns, what you have to do is, you have to, after this table, write one bracket and tell that you are inserting ID and name. If you don't mention anything, it will assume I have ID, I have name, I have age. I will go and insert this for ID. I will go insert this for name and this for age. But now what happened? I don't want to give age, but the column does not match it. So what I will do, after this table name, I will give ID and name. What will happen now? For ID, this will go and sit. For name, this will go and sit. Now I will execute it.
Santosh, one small doubt.
Yeah.
So what if we don't update anything and just keep a comma there?
If you don't update, yeah, we will insert that. We will insert that. Okay, first I will insert this. Now it is inserted. Now if I go and run the select code, if I go and insert the select code, I've inserted the record, but nothing has come here. For the tan guy I've not added any age, I've not got any number. Okay, now the next record I will insert only name, nothing else. So here it has to be name only. Now I'll insert it. It has got inserted. Now I'll go and run the select. I'll see only that. ID and age, I skipped it. But if I don't give this, it will throw me an error. Column count does not match. So something, if you don't give, it will try to insert for all the values. This is for ID, this is for name, this is for age. Something it will go and dig. But if you want to only insert specific columns, you have to make sure you give the order of what insertion it was to happen. Line number 10 is very important. 4 has to go and sit in ID. Tan has to go and sit in the name. So line number 10 is very important. The exact value of the data has to go and sit with a specific column. Only then you can achieve whichever row you want. You can go and insert it. You can go and get it like this. Okay, for one more thing I'll do, one more example I'll show. I want to insert only ID. Very simple. So here I gave name, right? So what I will do, I want only ID. So I'll copy this, I'll give ID, and for ID maybe I'll give 99. Other things I did not give anything. See, forget about restrictions. I have not put any restrictions, everything, but the order of insertion itself is not happening because this time the computer or a system is understanding if I give only table and values, it will expect 3 values because it is having 3 columns. But if I want only one, you mention the column name. This 2 is there, to 2 values you send. So 1 value is there, 1 value send. It will go and sit only in that place. This is how you can insert a specific column value. Okay, now you're asking me there, what if I enter some comma? I'll go here, I'll insert here. Maybe I will tell like this. This is what you want?
Yes, Santosh.
It is not even accepting because there is a error. Before even running, there is an error. Okay, but let us see, I give like this. Okay, I give like this, and this is something, for example, I will give age as well. Age I'll give 26, and here also I have to give age. Okay, I'll give age. So ID name age, and you're telling I will not give anything here. Okay, it is throwing me an error. because ID it is going and checking this, name it is searching here, nothing is there, but you can give null. Null is accepted, so this becomes first value, this becomes the second value, this becomes the third value, it is accepted. Now if I go and insert this, and if I select it, I will still get that 56 and I'm getting null. Accepted. This row is accepted. But if I don't give anything, it will not even insert it. See, here itself it is throwing an error. So how it will go and get? It is telling you have an error in the SQL code. It is telling you have an error in the SQL code. It will not accept it. So whatever value you're sending, you have to make sure you're inserting in a proper way. Okay. Now why I'm explaining this is, in order to check the default value, I will ignore this. I will not give location. Okay, for that, how to insert? I will insert it. I don't want to give this location. I don't want to give this location. Okay, and I will change the 5 and I will change something like, and I will change the address and I'll change the phone number. Now I'll try to insert it. It will not insert because the error I am going to get is column count did not match, because it is trying to insert for each and every column. Now what I will do, I will give whatever columns I have to give. So first one is going to be ID. So ID will be this value. Next it's going to be first name. So next it's going to be first name. So first name will be this one. Then comes the last name. Then comes the age. Then comes the address. After address, something which I add was location. This time I don't give location, directly I'll go and give phone number. Directly I go phone number. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6, 6 values is there. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now I'll go and insert it. See, remember, for the Aravind, I'm not going to give location. I'm not going to give location. I will run this.
It is
It is
7 feet that is there. It is Bangalore is there. It's full
no, it's
value
not Bangalore.
7.
It is address.
Oh, it's
Starting
1.
from quotes. Yeah, starting from quotes, ending with quotes.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Now I don't give location. Now I will go and see what it has inserted. What is inserted? If I go and see Aravind ID, Aravind Kumar 20, address Bangalore is again a part of the address only, but this is something which I did not give. Location Karnataka, Tamil Nadu or Kerala, I did not give. By default a value as got and entered into location. If maybe I would have not given a constraint, it would have been like this. It would have been like this. It would have go and sat as null. But instead of going and sitting as null, I will be making sure that some value is going and sitting. That value is default value. This India is coming from this constraint. You don't give anything to location, India will be going and sitting. Okay, now you tell me, I'll go and run this customer information. Now you tell me how this looks. Mistake, 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 mistake. Can you find any mistake here? This is how the data will be organized. By creating the constraints, you are having the clean data. No one can insert 9-digit. No one can insert duplicate address. You don't give anything, default some value will go and sit. Primary key, very important, it is maintained. First name and last name cannot be same. I've added a constraint. See the data, how organized it is. But see here, I started entering all these values. If this is like this, if you don't add constraint, how it will be? In the real time, lot of people will make mistake and it will be entering what I did. This is the only thing I've added. This was a normal table. I've started adding constraints. Primary key, not null, check condition, unique, default. Make sure again I will check. And this is like two columns I'm checking. So it will be like on a table level, and I'm also giving unique. So this is a few things which I've added with constraints. Now no one can make any mistake. No one can make any mistake. So now if I go and see here, this is what my cleaned data. This is what my clean data. Okay. And Ahmad is asking one question. What if I go and insert some space? What if I go and insert some space? Okay, so I'll enter that. I'll go here. I'll enter this again. For ID, I will give 6. And this one, I will give some space. Okay, and address I will change. Okay, so this one, again, I'll change the phone number. Okay, now this is actually treated as one value. This is actually treated as one value because something you're giving with respect to space. For example, I give null here. Null here, it will not accept it. First name cannot be null. Okay, suppose I don't give at all. I don't give at all. I have to remove here also. So ID will be 7. Last name will be K. Age will be 20. Now I have the matching order is done. I will go and insert. Still I'll get the same error. First name does not have default value. I had not given it, but it cannot be a null value as well. So that is the error I'm getting. Okay, so it is not accepting. First name, it is not at all accepting. It is not accepting a null. It is not accepting a value also, default value also. So what I will give, I will go and add first name. For the first name, let us give some space, or maybe I'll give some value. Okay, this is the first name now. This is the first name, but I've given the space. ID after 5, it should be 6. After 5, it should be 6. This is 6. Okay, this is the first name. This is a last name. This is the age, address, phone number, everything. But if I go and insert it, it is inserted. It is inserted. What exactly is happening? The space is also is been considered as a first name. You go and execute this. You go and execute this. This is actually coming as space. If it is null, it will be displaying as null. You can see that on top of it, it is displaying null, 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 null. But this is something, it is not null, it is space. So actually this also is has to be handled. Okay, now you tell me what constraint I can add it to make sure it will not accept the space as well. Okay, so you find out and you tell me how can I handle this. First of all, it is accepting. It is accepting because it is accepting a space. So it's like a space. So space means system doesn't know whether you're entering a character or you're entering a space or you're entering something. So something you're entering, system is understanding that, okay, it is making sure that first name is mentioned and first name is space. but in my reality, this should not come. Okay, so you tell me. So if I keep the cursor on it, so this is a value, this is a value, this is a value, this is a value. If I keep here, this is what it is showing as a value. That value and this value both are same. This space and this space are equal. So space has been also entered as a name. Now you tell me, how can you handle this? Okay, so take this as an assignment and you have to tell me how I can avoid this. It is inserting. Space is inserting, but I don't want to insert that. Okay, so you tell me what corrections I have to make for this code. For this code. Okay, for this code, if you make one correction, that space will be avoided. Okay, so will you tell me? Did you understand the question?
Yes, Santosh.
Yeah. So tomorrow you can tell me what exactly is going to happen with respect to this space issues. Okay. Okay. Any questions on constraints?
Because can you show me the insert you have inserted for the location as a default? Can you show me the insert command?
Nothing I've done. In the insert command, I've given the ordering. I've given ID, name, first name, age, location, phone number. Location, I've left it out. Here also I've left it out. Here also I've left it out. That means this part I've left it out. Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, I've left it out. I've not inserted. But I have to make sure I want to maintain the ordering part. ID, first name, last name, I want to order part. So thus, this is an insert statement.
But if I want to add that location and well in the values, if I say default, it won't take a.
No, it won't take. It won't take. Something which you don't give, it will take. For example, if I give location here, and if I have to go and give a location here, then it will give whatever value you give, that will take. For example, I will give Kashmir and I'll give in the codes. So what happens? It will match location, it will match with this. And again, I have to change everything 7, and I'll tell this, and I have to change the address, and I have to change the phone number. Now if I go and insert it, it is inserted, and go and run this, that Kashmir will come. I gave it, it's coming. If I don't give it, India will come.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions on constraints?
Santosh, can we phone number as a primary key? Because most of the websites, they will either ask to enter login ID or with phone number also we will login, right?
Yeah, a very good question.
So can we give
Yeah.
primary?
Correct. You can give it, but always try to understand one table can have only one primary key. A table can have only one primary key. For example, not null, I can write it n number of times. Not null, I can have one n number of times. Okay. Let us say this not null is repeated, check is repeated, 3 times it is repeated, unique it is repeated, but primary key can be only one. Okay, if you cannot, if you want to add for phone number, you should not add for ID. You can add it for phone number, but try to avoid using ID. So one table, only one primary key is allowed.
Sure, Santosh. Thank you.
Yeah. Now we have seen with what is this? I'm sorry. Not null, unique, primary key, check, and default. Only one thing is left out is foreign key. We'll go and create one small table. We'll go and create one small table. We'll go and create one small table. Okay.
One small doubt.
Uh-huh.
In the last one, last constraints, we use a check constraint first name not equal to last name, unique phone number which you used, right?
Uh-huh.
Hmm? In this one, without using the primary key in the as a ID, if I go and add in the last as a primary key, ID comma ID comma phone number. Can I do that one?
You want to add ID comma phone number here.
Can I do that one?
You're asking you want to create a primary key, right? See
Primary
here,
key on both ID and phone number without
yeah,
using the primary. Because you said that primary key I can use only once, right?
yes. See here, one thing I'll tell you. For example, if you have something called like ID, okay, and you have ID on phone number, okay, either you can create primary key on this, or you can create primary key on this. What will be the syntax? Primary key of ID, okay, or it can be something like primary key of phone number. It can be like this. It can be like this. But in some cases, what happens? Combination of this should be unique. Combination of this and this should be unique, or maybe unique in the sense it should not be duplicates, it should not be having null values, and it should follow the rules. What I can give like this. I can give like this. Possible. Okay. In that case, what I have to do? I cannot write it here. I cannot write it here. Instead, what I can do, I have to go and write it in the end, because it is having multiple columns. So I can write it like this: ID comma phone number. You can do this. You can do this. I don't get any syntax error. Possible. Whichever is having multiple conditions, you can go and add like that. So, but the combination it will check. ID and phone number has to be unique. For example, if you have ID 1 and if the phone number is like this, it will accept it. Okay. And the second one, if this can be same, this can be same, but the combination has to be different. This is one combination, this is one combination. This is what happens if you write like this. Clear? Or maybe if the same phone number is there, ID should be different.
Yeah.
This combination is different again. Phone number is same, but combination is different. That is what my primary key is telling. Combination has to be different. That is what the constraint it is following.
Primary
Okay.
key should
Now,
be always numeric character, numeric field.
nothing like that. It can be anything.
Okay.
It can be anything.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. What is the error? ID int primary key of ID.
Just remove that ID in brackets, right? And its own.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is the constraint that we have added. Okay. Let's go and do something for. Let's go and do something for. I'll create one sales table. Okay. For this sales table, let me add customer ID. The same example. Where is that? Sales information. I'm going to add now sales information, because a foreign key comes into picture only in the child table. This is my parent table. This is my child table. So what I will do, I will go here. I will create one table, sales information. Customer ID I will give as int. Product name I will give as varchar. Sales I will give as int. And for this customer, I will create a foreign key. So foreign key of CID, but where it is coming from? Reference of customer ID of ID. This one, customer information table of ID. It is a primary key. This reference I'm taking and I'm giving it for as a foreign key. Always remember, if you want to use it for reference, for sure it has to be used as a primary key. Without using this, it will not come. It will not come. Try to understand, it will not come. Okay, so now very simple. I've added nothing, no more constraints. I've added only foreign key. In the foreign key of CID, reference of customer ID's ID, because this customer is my parent table. Parent tables column, parent table, parent column. This is my current column. For this I am giving foreign key. That is all is a change. Okay, now if I go and run this, now I'll go and run this. Let me drop it and create it again. Okay, I'll drop this and I'll insert it. I'll not insert this null. Maybe I'll insert all other records. Okay, so I'll go and run the select statement. I'll go and run the select statement. Everything is proper. The data is clean data. Okay, what I will do now, I will go and create a foreign key table. That is a child table. Again, it's throwing error. Customer information of ID, primary key. Okay, let me drop it first. Then I will create this customer information table. What is the problem? Can anyone tell me? I've got the issue. I've got the issue. You tell me the error it is telling.
Actually, foreign key column is same and primary key column both are same only. But here we are taking only ID, but in foreign key we are using customer ID.
That is fine, no problem. This can be name is different. This I can give as ID and this I can give different. Nothing. It's not a problem.
Okay.
See, this should work.
I think the table name is wrong, whatever you given that is.
Table is?
Customer info table. Customer spelling is wrong, right?
No. I've copy pasted it. It's correct.
Okay.
Foreign key table was not created.
Foreign key table. Now that's what I'm creating now. For creating only, I'm getting error. I'm trying to create it. It's throwing me an error. The error is very straightforward. CID and reference column ID in a foreign key constraint are incompatible.
This is a small int, that is a int.
Exactly.
Different data types are used.
Yeah, this is a small int. This is a int. Okay, now what I will do, I will go and create a small int. I'll go and create a small int. Now I'll go and create it. It's created. It's created. Okay, see, maybe if I want to match it, this user ID, whether it's a varchar, it should be varchar. If it is a int, it should be int. If it is a tiny int, this also should be tiny int. Then only I can match this to. Now it has created it. Now it has created it. I did not get any issue. The last command. Okay, now I'll go and insert it. Okay, now one example I'm going to tell you is, this is a data. This is a data. Okay, now what I will do, I will go and insert some records to the sales information. I'll go and insert the records into some sales information. Make sure this is the ID, customer ID. This is the product he has purchased, iPhone, and this is a sales. This is a sales. Those who are already member, only those can buy it. One is, who is one? Dinesh. Dinesh will purchase iPhone. inserted. Okay, now I'll go and run the select statement. Select statement from sales. So who is the customer number 1? He has purchased the phone. Customer number 1, product is iPhone, and he has purchased it. Okay, the customer number 1 again will purchase one more product, Vivo phone. Customer 2 will purchase a Vivo phone. Now if I go and select it, one customer has purchased 2 products, second customer has purchased 2 products. Who is this person's? That you can always go and get it in this table. Customer information. Who is 1 and who is 2? Okay, 1 is also Dinesh, so 2 is also Dinesh, but this is Dinesh J. This is Dinesh Kumar. I will be able to get it. Who has purchased it? Who has purchased it? Okay, but let us say in this customer table, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 is there. I don't have a customer ID called 9. There is no customer called 9. Okay, I will go and run this code. This time I will tell them that 9 is something a customer who has purchased a MI phone for 8,000. It will insert or it will not insert?
It will
It will
not.
not.
I'm sorry?
It will not
Not
insert.
get inserted.
Why it will not get inserted?
The 9 is not there as a part of customer info.
Okay, let me
As
run
we
it.
are using foreign key, it will refer to the primary key. I mean, from the customer table. And we
Is
don't
this
have
error? Yeah, is this error readable, or you want to understand more on it? What it is telling? Cannot add or update a child row, a foreign key constraint fails. That means this 9 is something which is not present in my customer table. That is the reason you cannot add it. You cannot add it. Maybe you cannot add an entry to the foreign table because 9 is not there. Come back to our PPT. What exactly it is telling? User ID will be there, but this user ID has not purchased it. That is fine. Okay, and yesterday you asked me one question. What if that guy is purchasing as a null? Like I told, what is the difference between primary key and foreign key? Foreign key will accept null. So there is one guy who has purchased the MI product as a guest customer. He don't have an account, he don't have a registration with account, he has not registered, but still he has purchased with an Amazon. For example, I gave a Mintra. That is null here. I will go and insert here. This will get inserted. Null is getting inserted, whereas if you go and see here, null is getting inserted. That means the customer has purchased as a guest customer. Reverse is not possible. 9 I gave. 9 was not inserting because 9 was not a customer. But one who does not have a customer, like who have not at all registered, can still go and purchase. I will assume him as a guest customer. So null is accepted in foreign key. Very, very important. Difference between primary key and foreign key. Primary key can be only one non-table. Foreign key, it can be any number of foreign key. Primary key cannot have duplicates. Foreign key can have duplicates. See, foreign key is duplicated. One person has purchased 2 products. Foreign key is duplicated. And one more, primary key cannot accept null. Foreign key can accept null. This is a difference. If these 3 difference you are telling, that's all it is.
But Santosh, this is not the violation of the primary and foreign key relationship.
I've already created a link that is between the foreign key and a primary key constraint. If it is violated, it should not allow me to insert this. If it is violated, it should not be allowed, but null is accepted. Other than null, you cannot insert anything else. 9,
But for
18.
this particular null, you don't have the parent, right? Parent record is not there, right? For this one.
For null, you do not have a parent account. Something which is not present in the primary key, I am inserting, but it is null. But number has to be there. That 9, if I'm inserting, 9 has to be present. That is the value 9. Then you can tell that it is violated. primary key and foreign key constraint is violated. Then you can tell me. But now here what I can tell is null is there. Okay, fine. The ID is not there. That's why it's null. If it is violated, you should not allow me to insert it. Very simple. It is accepting. Clear?
Yeah, that should. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So this is about constraints. Any questions? A simple table along with the constraint table.
Sorry,
Yes. Yes.
Satosh, what if we don't want to accept null also in foreign key? What can we do?
Don't want to accept is what you can do is, can anyone tell me? Very good question. So he's telling I don't want to accept null. What should I do?
Use one more additional of constraints on that particular column.
Just go
Not null.
and add not null. Just go and add not null. Okay, so I'll drop this. I will recreate this. So it is recreated. It is recreated. Now I'll go and insert this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now if I insert this, will I insert this or not?
No.
Column CID cannot be null. Simple. You're adding one constraint to the table. That's all. Very good question. But it is acceptable. But if you don't want to accept it, just give a not null.
Thank you.
Not null will not accept it. Yeah. So try to show interest towards SQL. SQL is something which will be with you until unless you're there with IT. Okay, it's because any application always deals with data. There is no application only works on static page. Maybe going forward, you'll be learning Power BI, you will be reporting everything with respect to drag and drop, you'll be creating a charts, but please remember, always the base is going to be the data. Okay, please practice it. Like if you practice only, you will be able to get it. But in the real time, you will not create all this. Okay, in a team of 5 members, 6 members in your project, one will be Power BI developer, that will be you. One will be a manager, one will be a data architect, one will be a SQL developer. There will be one person who will be only working on SQL. Like he will create a table for you, he will create a constraints for you, he will do everything for you. You will be concentrating on reports, dashboards, charts. You will be doing that. Okay, so this on a high level we are learning, but Power BI you will be learning in depth. The same way, you have to know what exactly it is happening. Suppose tomorrow in the one person as like in your team, the SQL developer is on leave, and you have to take some of the work. You cannot go and tell your manager, I don't know SQL. That's not the good way. You have to take that because you already know SQL as well. You already know Power BI as well. Something nowadays companies are expecting is multi-skilled person. Only Power BI, you're not going to get job. You have to know SQL, you have to know Power BI. Only then your profile will be shortlisted at the first level itself. Okay, so concentrate more on this. See, I'll tell you which area you have to concentrate more. This everything, understand the concept. Primary key, foreign key, unique key, everything concept. I will tell you where exactly you need hands-on experience. Our next topic is going to be queries. You will start writing queries. This is where you will be working more. If someone is asking a question, you have to query it, you have to send an answer. If someone is telling, hey, what happened in the last month sales, what happened in the previous month sale, what happened last year, everything, client will ask you a question. You have to write an SQL code and you have to come up with the answer. That we will see in the tomorrow's session. Today we have completed the constraints practical class. So tomorrow we will go with the queries. Tomorrow's class, it's very important for as a Power BI developer. what exactly you will be doing in the real time, that we will be working. Like someone is asking question, client is asking question, how fast you're going to give the answer, how do you write the query, how do you write the conditions, everything we are going to see in the tomorrow session. Tomorrow and maybe what is tomorrow? Tomorrow is Friday,
Friday.
right? Yeah, Friday and Monday's class is very important. Very important. Please don't miss it. Okay, Friday we are going to discuss about queries. Monday we are going to discuss about something called joins. Joins is something 100% I'm telling you will get interview questions on joins. Every interview which I've taken so far, I've asked a question in joins. Similarly, all our students who have got placed as a Power BI, they would have got minimum of 2 to 3 questions in joins. So Friday's class and Monday's class is going to be important. Please don't miss it. Okay, so we'll continue tomorrow again at 7 o'clock.
So this SQL will complete in next week, huh?
Yeah, it will take another 1 week.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Santosh, trim
Sorry.
comments where we use trim
Trim.
command.
I'll show you. I'll show you. Which will be writing when queries, right? So it all comes under there. Trim, round, max, minimum, count, everything we will see in the queries. Maybe tomorrow's class you will see that.
Okay.